These are the materials that you will need to get started using the oil pastel technique that I'm going to show you. So you're going to need oil pastels. You'll need a container of baby oil. You can refill these as needed. They are labeled on the side that says baby oil and on the top. And then you will need Q-tips, okay? So I would recommend practicing on a piece of cardboard first, just so you can kind of get the technique a little bit, okay? So I'm going to show you guys a couple of things here and how some of the cool things that you can do with this. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to make a gradient of colors. So I'm just going to do this next to each other. And one of the cool things about these oil pastels is that it actually goes on so easy on this cardboard. So I'm going to gradually kind of fade in to the green, and it is important to overlap with this and do kind of cover this pretty well. And now I'm going to go to yellow, okay? So that looks pretty good on its own on that cardboard, but I'm going to show you something else that we can kind of turn this into paint a little bit. So I'm going to do the same example of the swatch next to it, kind of using the same combination of colors. All right, so those look pretty similar. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my Q-tip into the baby oil. And because this is oil pastel, if I were to do this with water, it's not going to do anything. But because this is oil-based, it will. And what it will do is it kind of turns this into paint. And you can actually kind of blend those colors together to get a pretty cool painterly effect. And you can kind of see how that's going to make that a little bit different. You do have to make sure that you have quite a bit of oil pastel down first, otherwise it's not going to show up very well, okay? So we'll let that dry, and it might be a little bit difficult to see how that changes on this cardboard, but in real life you'll be able to see it, and in when it's dry on your own paper, you'll be able to see it as well, okay? So let me show you another idea of doing that where it works really well with lights and darks. So if I was doing like a black to a white, naturally going to blend on its own. And remember, if your oil pastels ever get dirty like this, just take a paper towel and kind of wipe it off like this, and it'll kind of help clean that off, okay? So now I'm going to use that oil pastel again, or the baby oil again. And just over here, I'm going to blend this together. So you can kind of see how that, when there's more contrast of a color, how that's kind of turning it into paint. So as you do this, take a look here. I'm going to switch from the opposite side and use my clean side to kind of blend that together so it doesn't look like such a harsh transition of color. But that's kind of another cool way that you can easily add this in to your drawings, okay? You can also try, and sometimes this doesn't work the best, but you can actually take the oil pastel and put it directly into the baby oil, and it will kind of turn it into a painterly effect right away. But I would recommend just using that Q-tip trick. That seems to work, okay? So let me give you some ideas. And you should practice on a practice sheet as you're doing this, okay? So let me give you some ideas about maybe how you could develop that and add that onto your background. So using some gradients of colors, you can do designs. I'll show you a couple different options here. So just sit back and watch for a minute. Okay, so I have kind of a gradation of colors happening here. You can see that I didn't quite get all of those spaces there. So let's go ahead, and as you're doing this, it's always important to use it from light to dark. So I'm going to start with the yellow in that baby oil, and I'm just going to start blending this, and this will kind of make it spread out among the cardboard already where I missed that. So just kind of watch that as this develops. So I'm just going to keep working from lightest to darkest, and let's see how this turns out. Okay, so you'll notice I only put that, dipped it a couple of times. I'll zoom in here. It'll dry and it'll look a little bit different. I'll show you an image of that where it is going to dry a little bit. The cool thing about it is if you ever need more color, you can always go back over top of it. Notice I was kind of going in a circular motion because I don't want it to be super streaky, but it kind of turns it into this cool painting effect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish the background and add some shadows in there. So here's kind of the completed picture of that. Now, you can use some of that same technique, doesn't just have to be in the background. We'll go to this example of the colored pencil. I can achieve this same type of look using oil pastels. So I'll go ahead and show you that quickly using the same combination of colors kind of that I did here. So you can see how you can get kind of a similar effect in a different way. Those look a little bit different, but experiment with that. And like I said, go back to that test piece of paper, and you can already see here where this looks a lot different than this here. Kind of more chalky. This does look a lot more vibrant and painterly. Be careful though, because any spot that maybe you don't have a color on, if you get oil pastel on it, it is going to stain, okay, or leave it oily looking like that. One of the other things that I'm just going to talk about quickly here is that as you do this too, once you go over this, you can, after it's dry, if you wanted to add a pattern or something over top of it with another color, you can go ahead and do that right over top without worrying about this blending together too much. So depending on what you want for your background, those are some things that you can try out with the baby oil and oil pastels.